Hi everyone, Susie here, and I garden in Minnesota, and I just wanted to do a quick update in this video on the perennial seeds that I have germinated so far. And this top shelf here, the heat mat is on. There's a little germination happening, but not enough to move them to the bottom shelf. I have humidity dome still on, so they're staying on until I see a little more germination. And I have the lights on now. It is very cold outside. My plant room is in my garage. I can control the heat. I have it at 68 degrees. But that being said, if you can see, I have ice forming down there in the corner, which makes the bottom row of the shelves a little bit cooler. I was negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit. But that's okay, because once my seeds germinate, and these are all perennial seeds, I like to get them into a little cooler area because I don't want to keep them on the heat mat. That will just encourage stretching. Leggy seedlings, I mean, who wouldn't love that warm condition? I mean, me right now, I'm sitting on the ground and I'm a little chilly. But I like to have the temperatures a little bit cooler. I only have the grow light up that high just because for this video. Once I'm done with the video, I will lower it to about 2 inches from the plant just so it's not touching the foliage. And I would say down here, it's probably about 60 degrees. Which I think is pretty good. So I'm just going to go, this one back here is Obedient Plant Crystal Peak. And they're getting close to be potted up. I like to start most of my seeds this way. That way I can just prick them out, put them into their own little homes along with the slow release fertilizer when they're at that stage. I just like to get it before they get too big and the roots start to intertwine. And I know Obedient Plant can spread. I'm okay with that. Most of these seeds I purchased from swallowtailgardenseeds.com or outsidepride.com. Swallowtail has unbelievable selection of seeds. I can't say enough about them. I'm not sponsored by them, but really happy. I have more seeds ordered and coming in the mail. I'm hoping tomorrow, so fingers crossed. This right here is Radar Love Clematis. I could not get clematis to germinate for nothing last year. No matter, I tried winter sowing, I tried cold stratification, and just normal, nothing. I don't need that many. So what I'm hoping for out of all of these plants, I have a lot of varieties, but less of them. So I have a little bit more selection to pick from. This one right here is another Obedient Plant. This is Rose Crown. It's a pink bloom. And you can see the germination on this isn't as good as the white one, but again, this will be enough for me. And I just need to keep that in mind when potting up these perennials, because there's not a lot of friends and family that like perennials. They prefer annuals. So I did end up composting a lot last year, which makes me feel a little bit bad because as a gardener, I hate to get rid of good, healthy plants. But I didn't feel too bad because they were started from seed. This one right here, I forget what variety this is, Hybrids Coral Bells. This is new for me this year, so I don't know what colors these are going to be, so which makes that really super interesting on my part. I can't wait because it's that whole waiting game sometimes to see what you're going to get. Because you don't know until they start getting their set of true leaves what they are going to be. Even at that, it takes a little bit. Pretty good germination, not fantastic. I just took it off the heat mat maybe a couple days ago. I'm hoping for a few more to germinate, but even at that, that's a pretty good amount. That one right there is Comfrey. So this is a first that I've grown Comfrey. I am just using this plant as fertilizer. So I'm going to harvest the leaves and make my own fertilizer from it. And if I let some bloom, I know the pollinators like it. But for the most part, this I'm hoping works out. And who doesn't like free fertilizer? In the back, let's see. And there's some, let me just scoot this up. Palace Purple Heuchera Coral Bells, and grew that from seed last year. Fell in love with it, so of course I had to grow it again. And let's see. I have some really good germination on it. Granted, it's tiny. Can't really see. I also have some algae up there, which has no impact on my seed starting, so I'm not worried about that at all. I just keep looking for fungus gnats because they're usually the ones that give me a lot of problems. Trying to keep on top of that this year. Love the Palace Purple Heuchera. I will always have that in my garden. Back here is Melting Fire Coral Bells. And I also started this from seed last year. I had 2 germinate. This year I definitely have a lot more. Love this Coral Bells. It gets like a deep burgundy red ruffled foliage. Just gorgeous. They're not massive plants. Again, they're not like the wow, the it plants of the season. But I started these from seeds, and that means so much more to me. The fact that I've gotten them to being planted out. I was so amazed at the perennials I grew last year. I definitely had to up my game this year with them. This right here, so this is where I had this on a heat mat, January 23rd. And look at that. 3 days. I'm just amazed. So that's why it's like, yes, I like the heat mats, but I just have to be careful not to leave them on too long. And this one too, this is the only one I have a picture for. So enjoy the gorgeous flowers here. So these are hollyhocks. I have never grown hollyhocks before in my garden. This will not bloom for me this year. They're 4-hook giants, but it does say 365 days to bloom. But that being said, I'm just looking for a very healthy plant to put into my garden. Isn't that amazing? And look at the germination on this. I purchased that from a big box store. I couldn't help it. That picture is so pretty. January 23rd, I also had this on a heat mat, and look at that. I'm just amazed. So usually I check on perennial seeds about a week after I sow them, but with the heat mats, I'll have to be a little bit better about checking on them. This whole tray here has 32 lupines. I don't need that many, but just 2 varieties, the Governor and the Chatelaine. So I'll just have to see which ones are the better looking and get rid of the rest. But it's the first for me growing lupines too, so very happy. Some packets, was it this one? Yeah, the 2 said if started early enough that they may bloom. Still with lupines, I'm kind of on the fence about that. So we will see. It would be really awesome if they could bloom for me the first year, but I don't think so. And down here, I started these a little bit differently. They are an ornamental grass, Korean feather reed grass. And the reason why I did is because the seed packet says that I don't have to thin the seedlings. So I just kind of have about 3 to 5 seeds in each container here. Look, they've already started to germinate. So let these just keep growing in here. Eventually I will pot them up. And hopefully that's all I have to do in here. If I end up with a little more seedlings because I've got a little heavy-handed, I'll just take a scissors and clip some of them out to just have better airflow. But I can't believe this. And this is Korean feather reed grass. And this is, the packet says a zone 4. I just know from purchasing these plants at my local nursery that it says a zone 5, but I am a zone 4B, and they do come back in my zone. So I kind of like to find most of the seeds to zone 4. A 3 is awesome because I just know for the most part they'll do wonderfully. And then sometimes a zone 5 because sometimes they're just too pretty to pass up. And I really love this ornamental grass. It can take a little more shade and wetter soils. That's why it's perfect for my growing situation. But I'm going to wrap this video up. My heater is going to kick on. It gets very loud. So hopefully you enjoyed this little update on my perennial seedlings, and hopefully you are having some really good seed starting, and bye for now.